Are you blessed? You know what time it is, my brothers and sisters. I'm back from YouTube lockdown. We're about to drop some deep melanin science today. Listen to reason and listen to wisdom. You know the intro. You know what time it is. Let's go! Yo, banging on the beat, breaking the concrete, defeating demons on a daily basis, glowing radiance, raising the consciousness to the most high status, Lumen lyrical brightness, supreme natural intelligence. There's no coincidence that I'm rocking, feeding the knowledge to the masses. Vets and youth always speak the fire of truth, wisdom. Life is about growth or development, so build your light for the tests in life. Never give up, never let up. That's what's up. You know what time it is. So push forward, elevate your mind in the sun and rise.
Yeah, check it, listen, coming through, call your bun. I'm an intellectual to the precise decimal of mathematical root radicals. So let's see this, I mean this, the fire of truth. From the sheer might, the fire of truth. Preach, teach, the fire of truth.
Just levitate, levitate, keep your head straight. Just levitate, levitate. Even if the world is so cold, we just levitate, levitate, set these spies.
Barak Shalom, my brothers and sisters, and welcome to another live Blaze broadcast, brought to you by your brother, your solar sovereign son, the radiant one, supreme natural intelligence, intelligent genes, intelligenetics. Okay, everybody, as you see in the title, we're going to be going into some deep science once again, giving you the real knowledge and the real wisdom as it pertains to color, melanin, the black molecule, the black compound that a lot of, especially the European and Caucasian race, says, oh, it doesn't matter, we're all the same. No. You know nothing of life. You don't even study your own scientist. All technology is centered around the study of the black compound, the black molecule. The fabric of life is made up of the black molecule, also known in organic life forms called melanin. Etymology, break it down, is the black molecule, the black particle, the black compound. It makes up all of life. So you're going to be finding out the deep science behind the importance of melanin and why it's important for us to have and to continue to increase within our living biochemistry. Listen to reason and listen to wisdom. What's poppin', brother Ahmed? I see you. So let me continue here. We'll get this started right away. So to start this off, to bring the genesis of why melanin is so important, this all starts with light. Your ability to interface, connect, and have a relationship with light is dependent on the concentration of the black compound you have within your living biochemistry. What am I saying, Nathan? What are you saying, Nathan? Melanin is like an antenna to the source. The greater your antenna, the deeper your connection is to the source, and the greater information you can receive from the source, which is God, which is almighty nature, however you want to call it, the universe. So Nathan, break it down another way. What are you saying here? The most important thing in life, my brothers and sisters, the most important thing in life is your ability to connect to the light. Did you hear me? The most important, utmost, zenith, supreme thing in life is your ability to connect with the light. If you lack the ability to fully connect with the light, you're going to be having missing pieces of information. Light is synonymous with knowledge. Light is synonymous with information. Light is synonymous with intelligence. Light is synonymous with instructions. In other words, the scientific word for instructions is hormones. So you won't be able to properly live your life without the light. And if you have a lack of ability to receive the light, you limit your evolution. You slow down your evolution process, your ability to elevate yourself, to reach your highest kinetic potential. So this whole thing is about connecting with light. People like to talk about physical food. Oh, I need to eat for energy. People in general, the masses fail to realize that 2/3 of your energy comes from the sun. What does the sun provide you? Light, radiation, vitality, growth and development, instructions, intelligence, knowledge, which is light. The sun is composed of a wide dynamic variety of different light frequencies and vibrations. The better you're able to absorb the full light spectrum of the sun, the more powerful, the more intelligent you will become. This is why the black molecule, the black particle, the black compound is essential for you to build in your body. My brothers and sisters, this is going to be a series. We're going to be going in real deep with this melanin science. We're not going to give anybody any excuse to say, oh, melanin doesn't matter, this protects you from the sun. No, that's ignorant. It's far more than that. It makes up the fabric of life itself. So let's go back to basics and keep this as simple as possible. Because a sign of a truly brilliant and intelligent person is taking the complex things that appear to be complex and making it into simple for the average person, the layman, to understand. Understand, equal stand, overstand. Light is the utmost important thing in life. This life is all about your ability to absorb the light. If you lack the ability to absorb the light, it's in fact a curse to you. If you can't handle the light, it's considered a curse. Why is it a curse? What does the scriptures teach us? The people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because they can't receive the knowledge or they reject the knowledge. And what did I say light is? Light is information. Light is intelligence. Light is knowledge. If you lack the ability to receive the reception of the light, in other words, the knowledge, the light knowledge, the light information, how are you going to elevate and grow in life? In fact, life is a derivative of light. Because life is the animation of light solidified in animation. We are all condensed light. In fact, the universe is made up of light. And what is light composed? What makes up light? How is light created? It's created through the friction of electricity and magnetism, having sex, sacred energy exchange. I've already told you the 7 elements, the 7 primary elements that make up the universe. Magnetism is the number 1, is feminine aspect. Magnetism, predominantly feminine. Electricity, predominantly masculine. Light / sound. Ether / plasma. Gases, liquids, solids. 7 primary forces that make up this whole holographic world we live in. So magnetism, electricity, light, sound is pairs, ether/plasma, gases, liquids, solids. So my brothers and sisters, based on that information right there, you should be starting to understand the importance of why the black molecule is so profound and so important in life and makes it the fabric of life. In fact, when we go back to the source, which is the almighty blackness, which the universe is mostly black, blackness represents the quantum field of infinite possibilities. Did you hear me? Blackness represents the quantum field of infinite possibilities. Blackness, in other words, the average person that lacks understanding, they say blackness is nothing. What is nothing? Nothing is basically the womb element of all of creation, all of life itself. When we're talking about the primary forces of nature that make up life, which is the magnetism, electricity, light, sound, ether, plasma, gases, liquids, solids. The zero is part of mathematics. That's the genesis to all things. So the blackness represents the zero, the womb of creation. That's why it's called the quantum field of infinite possibilities. If you notice magnetism and you look at its pattern movement, it's forming zeros, a bunch of zeros in a shape of a spider. It's like the web of life. So when we further break down blackness, blackness is all possibilities in one at an infinite level. Blackness is all possibilities, infinite possibilities in one, synchronized, unified, in unison, simultaneously. We perceive blackness as nothing is because we are operating in a limited ability state. When we look into the blackness, we see nothing because we are limited beings. We see less than 1% of the spectrum, the light spectrum, within the blackness. So we are practically blind because the blackness has infinite possibilities of all things that could happen in life. What is white light? White light is the projection that comes out of the blackness. White light makes all possibilities manifest because white light is the carrier of all the possibilities within the blackness. Without the white light, we won't be able to perceive what's inside the blackness. That's what you need to comprehend, my brothers and sisters. That's what you need to comprehend. I'm keeping this as simple as possible. This is Melanin Science, the black molecule, giving you the backdrop. So when we talk about nothing, nothing is in actuality everything. Everything undefined. Blackness is actually everything undefined yet. Once the white light projects itself out of blackness, then we could start to perceive and define what's in that blackness. So nothing is actually everything. Everything is just basically nothing with the white light carrying it out to make it discernible and visible for us to see the differences. So when we're talking about melanin, why it's so important, blackness is the absorber of all things. Whiteness is the projection of all things. Blackness absorbs, white light projects. What does a black hole do? Absorbs infinite possibilities until the white light pushes that possibility out. Remember, the universal laws is Hermetic principle. The 7 primary Hermetic principles is what? Mentalism. Mind. What is the mind? The mind is electricity and magnetism having their sacred energy exchange with one another. What is a thought? Thoughts are electricity and magnetism forming shapes and patterns. Are you starting to get it? When you think of a thought, initially before you think of a thought, there's just emptiness. There's this pure harmony, pure unity. Everything is one. But as soon as you think of an individual thought, you separate certain vibrations and frequencies from the blackness, and you make that vibration and frequency separate from the blackness and make it individual. You in fact spark the light out of the blackness, creating a specific frequency and vibration, which is thought. And when you further make the thoughts more complex, you create words. And that words make a sound eventually. Eventually it's going to make a sound that's perceivable. And that sound is going to turn into actions and then starts going to manifest and bring things into fruition. So thoughts are just electricity and magnetism sparking in a certain pattern. That's coming from the infinite dimension of possibilities, of infinite possibilities. The quantum field of infinite possibilities, which is the blackness. Blackness is all color spectrums unified in harmony, unison. Whiteness is the projection of all things contained within the blackness in separation. Or in other words, white light allows you to it gives you the ability to discern, to distinguish what's in the blackness. That's why when you get a flashlight and you're in your blackness, oh, I can't see. I need to see what's in here. As soon as you turn the light, you're going to be able to discern what's there. Because the white light separated and made things divided for you to discern. Another way you could look at it is that white light is an illusion. The light is an illusion in a way. Because depending on your mind state, your mind is gonna see whatever it's thinking. Everybody has a different perception on things. So when a person is looking at something, they may see it in their own way. Another person comes, they're gonna see it in their way. Because your thoughts are a different angle. It's at a different angle of light amongst the frequencies and vibrations in life itself. That is why everybody is different. Everybody thinks different. Some people have similar ideas. Some people have completely polar opposite ideas. That's the cipher of life. We're in the womb of creation, which is 0. It gives birth to all the numbers from 1 to 9. The only numbers that exist is 1 to 9. Everything is just compounded from the numbers 1 to 9 or 0 to 9. Because as soon as we pass 9, there's nothing past 9. It's just an illusion that creates infinity. Technically, everything is an infinity. Let me say this way. Everything is infinity by default. There's zero, there's zero represents a limited possibility of all things. When you start adding 1 to 9, you're adding distinction between an infinity. But as you keep counting up the numbers, it's never ending. Because as soon as you go to 9, which is the omega, 1, 0 to 1 is like the alpha part. 8 to 9 is like the omega end, or the aleph ta in Hebrew. So in order for you to progress in the infinity, you have to create another womb. That's why when you get to 9, you have to go back to the beginning and inverse it, flip it around. 1, 0. But in truth, the source and root is 0, then 1 comes out. But in order to progress the infinity, you change it. You change the angle. So you put 1, and then you create another womb, so you could progress the numbers. And this is a non-stop thing. You could keep going on and on and on non-stop. So this whole universe is infinity. It's infinity. There are many universes and it doesn't stop. The universe is always expanding. Never ending in expansion. Because as I said before, the blackness is the quantum field of infinite possibilities. Or in other words, with ancient Kemetic science, it's the infinite waters of noon. Noon. What regulates this reality is the mind. Mind creates all things through electricity and magnetism, which creates a sacred energy exchange when it's in friction, creating all elements in life. So let's get on to the melanin. I don't want to make these live blazes too long. I want to keep them at least like an hour, within an hour. Because I know a lot of people have short attention spans. So I'm going to try to keep these lessons, because there's a lot to get through, a lot of information to get through. But the main thing I want you to get out of this, going back to the melanin. Melanin is important because your ability to communicate with the source, the better you're able to communicate with the source, the more supreme you will become in life. Blackness is the infinite realm is the supreme realm of infinite potential. White light is the infinite kinetics coming from the potential. So your ability to absorb the full spectrum light is of utmost importance to your living biochemistry, because light is knowledge. The more knowledge you gain, the greater you're going to grow at all levels in life. Rose, sweet Rose, what's poppin'? The God, I see you, what's poppin'? Nubian DNA, I see you, what's poppin'? So getting to melanin. The whole purpose of building your melanin is to increase your ability to take in knowledge and information and make it useful and valuable in your life. So you can make use of it in live dynamic or radical action. If you have a lack of ability to interface with light, you're going to reduce your ability to grow in life. So the greater your ability to absorb light, the greater your overall abilities you will have mentally, physically, spiritually, soulfully. In modern time, a lot of people are afraid of light, or light is harmful to them. Even amongst the so-called black community that's supposed to be the highest level conductors of light, based on their chemistry, their living biochemistry. Yet they're acting like Europeans. Oh, I need sunshades. The sun is too bright. I need a cap. Oh, the sun is too hot. Oh, I can't. It's too hot out here. That's a deficiency. That's a disability. In fact, when there's more light and there's more sun energy, you should be becoming more powerful, stronger. But yet, you're whining and complaining and running inside, running indoors, running in the caves, running from that sun. And you wonder why your growth is limited, because you need to be getting in tune with nature. And it's even more embarrassing when black folks are doing it and running from that sun. What good is your skin if it's not working? What good is your melanin if it isn't working internally and externally? Because you have to remember, it's not just about skin melanin. It's about your neural melanin as well. Skin melanin, neural melanin. Those are important things that you have to have. When it comes to your skin melanin, that's going to give you a heightened ability to be more athletic. Your potential to be at a higher physical athletic level is going to be, a lot of it is based on how dark you are. It's going to give you the ability to access the higher levels of physical ability in most cases. I'm not saying that Caucasians or light-skinned races cannot be extremely elite and have performance athletics. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying on average, if you have the skin pigmentation to absorb the full light spectrum of the sun, you're going to have a greater ability to do more things physically on average. There's always exceptions to the rule, like I said. If you're an unhealthy black person, this doesn't apply to you. So don't get it twisted here. Yes, Europeans could be highly athletic. Of course they can. It's more than just it's more than just skin melanin. It's not just skin melanin alone. It's your central nervous system melanin, which is very important as well. In fact, the more neural melanin you have, the more intelligent you'll be mentally. The more intelligent you will be mentally is the more neural melanin you have. Why? Because, like I've already told you, blackness is the supreme element in life. And the more you're able to absorb light, the more knowledge you could absorb. Whether it's physically or it's mentally. So the people who are considered highly intelligent is because they have a lot of neural melanin. Central nervous system melanin within them. People that are highly athletic, they have very efficient ability to absorb light. That amplifies their ability to move in a dynamic way, physically. And it's the same thing with people who have a lot of central nervous system melanin. They have a dynamic ability to have a great intelligence. And most humans are capable of heightening all of these abilities if they're doing what they're supposed to be doing as nature intended. Some people are just ahead of each other. Everybody isn't equal in skill and ability. Use common sense. Everybody isn't equal in skill and ability. Some people are better off on doing certain things because there are genetic affinities based on certain aspects of their genetics, their living biochemistry. And it has a lot to do with the melanin. And just because you have melanin, you're dark, doesn't necessarily mean you're necessarily going to access the supreme states. Because if you're not properly nourishing your melanin, it's just a stain on your body. You have to be properly nourishing your melanin and making use of it. So let us get to the science here. Melanin is very important here. So let me show my screen here. As you could see, when you type in the value of melanin or the price of melanin, it's going to tell you that melanin is approximately, as you could see, $350 to $445 per gram. More valuable than gold. So let that sink in. Let that sink in. If color wasn't important, if melanin wasn't important, why is it worth so much? Is the question. Why is it worth 400 plus per gram? And it depends on the quality of melanin we're talking about. Obviously, the top quality, the darkest melanin is going to be worth the highest amount. As you go down in shades, it's obviously the value of it is going to drop a bit. So you got to ask the question, why is melanin so expensive? It's based on what I've just told you. So this is why melanin is so important. Because it's the centerpiece of all of technology. All of artificial technology is centered around that technology's ability to access the full spectrum light. In other words, information. The greater the ability that technology is in accessing the light, or in other words, the knowledge and information, the quicker it's able to process that information, the quicker it's able to hold onto information. Melanin, the scientific ability of melanin is called black body radiation, or another term that melanin uses as scientifically is called photovoltaics. Black body radiation is like what I said before, is that compound's ability to absorb all electromagnetic energies. The darker that compound, the more electromagnetic frequencies and vibrations it could absorb and transmute into different forms. Melanin is able to absorb and transmute and make use of electricity, magnetism, light, sound, and thermal heat. It uses these 5 elemental forces for different purposes. Whether it's mental function, since we're humans, how does it convert these energies? Simple. We have a metabolism, right? The greater ability to absorb these energies, the greater your ability, the higher your metabolism will be. The greater your immune system will be. The greater your intelligence will be. The greater your physical ability will be. So it transmutes electricity, magnetism, light, sound, and thermal heat for various different purposes, for living, for working, doing what you need to do in life to survive and thrive. Everything they talk about biology and chemistry, about the body's powerful ability to do all these things, is going to be dependent on the melanin. Melanin is the centerpiece, or is the fundamental core of all of these things, all the processes and functions in the body. So now you're seeing why melanin is so ridiculously expensive. And this thing is constantly rising. As they're discovering more things, this thing is constantly skyrocketing in price. So what do they generally use the black molecule for in life? I've already told you, in technology. So, the applications melanin is used for is ultraviolet light and radiation protection, antioxidants, pharmaceuticals, and cosmetics. So generally, melanin is used on pretty much every aspect in life. It's used for processing different energies of light, like ultraviolet, gamma rays, all ultraviolet rays, all those things melanin can produce and make use of and transmute to different forms of energy. Radiation protection, antioxidants, pharmaceuticals, drugs and remedies, all these different things that they use it for, and cosmetics, beauty, and different genetic things to enhance the beauty of your body and to extend the life of your body, to extend the vitality of your body. So you're seeing why melanin is so important. So I don't want to be hearing no white folks going, oh, melanin not important. Everyone, stop it. Melanin is the most studied compound on this whole face of this planet. There's nothing more studied, more looked into than melanin, the black molecule, because it's the fundamental core of all of life. The more of this element you have, the greater you are to reaching supreme being status. So let me get some more articles here. Let me get some more articles to show and prove. So we're going to look in this article for a moment here. The basics of melanin here. We're going to what? The National Science Database we're going into right now. So the biochemistry of melanin. So you have no excuses. There's so much information you could look into. No excuses. Melanin is a term used to describe a large group of related molecules responsible for many biological functions, including pigmentation of skin and hair and photoprotection of skin and eye. Fundamentals. In humans, melanin exists as three forms. Eumelanin, which is subdivided further into black and brown forms. Pheomelanin and neuromelanin. So eumelanin is the darker pigmentation of the darker browns and blacks. When we get to pheomelanin, that's when we go to the light browns. Neuromelanin is talking about the melanin that is inside your living biochemistry, used for different purposes within the body, as I've already explained earlier. Cellular. Eumelanin and pheomelanin are produced in various amounts in the basal layer of the epidermis within cells called melanocytes. Melanocytes are mature forms of melanoblasts, which migrate from the neural crest following to the neural tube closure. As melanin is produced within melanocytes, it is packaged in small, round, membrane-bound organelles called melanosomes. Melanosomes are transported from melanocytes to neighboring keratinocytes via tentacle-like dendrite processes. We know that dendrites are what? The nerves, extension of the neural pathways of nerves. It's like the roots of the tree, planted and grounded. Dendrites. It's when you look at dendrites, it's like roots planted in the ground. gathering nourishment, gathering information, gathering materials and resources, minerals, vitamins. As above, so below, as within, also without. We are all connected with nature. So melanosomes arriving in keratinocytes are positioned superficially to cell nuclei, which serve to protect from incoming ultraviolet radiation. And you know, you've been taught already that ultraviolet B supposedly gives you skin cancer, right? If you get too much of it. And the more melanin you have, the better protection they say you'll have against this. Right? But like I said before, as you move up in the light spectrum, going to ultraviolet light, to gamma, all those different vibrations and frequencies that is increasing, the more information is contained within those things. And if you have a greater ability to handle those frequencies, the greater physical ability you will have, the greater intelligence you will have. Just to keep it simple. The greater your immune system will be, the greater your overall living biochemistry will be. You're going to have stronger bones, you're going to have more intelligent cells, stronger immune system, stronger mental facilities and faculties, the ability to access information instantaneously. In other words, connect to the source. When you're more black, you're able to more quickly to connect to the source. Your reception and perception is much more dynamic and greater. I'm keeping it as basic as simple as possible here. So when you look at Superman, even though we know that's mythology, there is truth to that mythology, that comic book thing. Superman is probably the greatest hero. People consider Superman the greatest hero and one of the most powerful heroes out of all the heroes, because Superman has the ability to be powered by the sun. The greater that sun's power level is, light spectrum is, the greater Superman's power will be. That's photovoltaism. That's a scientific technology called photovoltaism. And we know that photovoltaism's ability to work is dependent upon the darkness of the black molecule you have within you. So in reality, if you want to be true to the science, Superman is not no pale guy. He's not no white dude, Caucasian. No offense. To make Superman more real and make it make more sense, a black person should be playing Superman, not no pale white person. Not disrespecting Caucasians, I'm just saying. If you want to make this make sense and make it more reality, a black person should be Superman. Because like I've already told you, the darker you are, the greater your ability to absorb the electromagnetic light spectrum. And the more you're able to absorb that energy, the more knowledge, the more power you're able to achieve. That's common science. That's why melanin is the most studied compound in the world. It's incorporated in all facets in life, all phases in life. So I want to show you something here. What else I want to show you before I continue with that article here? Let's move back for a second. I know I saw an article that was talking about something. Hold up. This article may do here. Studies lead to use of melanin as material for bioelectronic devices. Bioelectronics, sometimes called the next medical frontier, is a research field that combines electronics and biology to develop miniaturized, implantable devices capable of altering and controlling electrical signals in the human body. Large corporations are increasingly interested. A joint venture in the field has recently been announced by Alphabet, Google parent company, and pharmaceutical giant GlaxoSmithKline, GSX. One of the challenges that scientists face in developing bioelectronic devices is identifying and finding ways to use materials that conduct not only electrons, but also ions, as most communication and other processes in the human organism use ionic biosignals, neurotransmitters. In addition, the materials must be biocompatible. Resolving this challenge is one of the motivations for researchers at Sao Paulo State University School of Sciences. At Barrio in Brazil, they have succeeded in developing a novel route to more rapidly synthesize and to enable the use of melanin, a polymeric compound that pigments the skin, eyes, and hair of mammals, and is considered one of the most promising materials for use in miniaturized implantable devices such as biosensors. So as you see, if you want to interface with the technology, they got to make use of melanin. Solar panels make use of the black compound. The darker that solar panel, the greater that solar panel's ability to photovoltaically convert the light into electromagnetism. Photo is the scientific word for light. Voltaic is reference to volts, energy, currency, electricity, and magnetism. So photovoltaic is your body's ability to convert light into electricity and magnetism, and vice versa, back and forth. And even with NASA's talking about the ability for their ships to handle the chaos in space, the harshness in space. They need to have a black surface layer so their ships can move through space efficiently and effectively and last. You got to look this up. You're being told that melanin don't matter, black don't matter, but yet all of technology is making use of the technology of blackness. And humans are so damn stupid and dumb. Oh, I want to color my hair. I want to dye my hair this pale blonde, all this different stuff. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with blonde. I'm just saying, why would you degrade your organic technologies and degrade it to something else and kill your hair, kill your skin by trying to lighten it up on purpose? You want to darken your skin up, not lighten it up. Everything all around you is showing you the importance of blackness, but you run in from blackness because it's indoctrination, lies and deceit. They want to keep you dumbed down. What did I tell you before at the beginning of this broadcast? If you lack the ability to interface, connect, and have a relationship with light, the less information you'll be able to absorb within you and take in. The greater your ability to interface with light, the more knowledge you'll be able to obtain, the more power you'll be able to attain. Don't they say knowledge is power? Wisdom is power? The application of knowledge, practice, and life dynamic or radical action? What is the purpose of the shadow government, the shadow powers, and the hidden hand? To keep the masses dumbed down, doing stupid things. keep you high on drugs, keep you drunk, keep you trapped in tainting your mind, entertainment, keep you distracted from your growth and development in life. Life is about increasing your light, Lumen consciousness, Illuminati, Lumen consciousness. It's about increasing the light within you and outside of you. The less light you have, that's death. You go back to 0 point. You go back to the beginning, 0. Dead things have a dim amount of light. They lose their light. They lose their ability to operate in this life. That's death. You lose your ability to operate in this life. You transmute to a different form. And you become raw materials for the life. So why would you prematurely want to kill yourself and go back to the blackness? You're here to grow and develop. Growth and development is your ability to increase the light within you. Knowledge, wisdom, information, and intelligence. And it's all centered around the black molecule of melanin. Melanin is simply the black particle, the black molecule, the black compound that makes up the fabric of life. Everything has melanin. Just different percentages of melanin, different types of melanin. So you already know that Elon Musk is creating chips so we could integrate with artificial intelligence to artificially improve your evolution. Humanity is trying to advance, or should I say the Caucasians are trying to advance themselves by interfacing with artificial intelligence or technology. Since they lack melanin, they don't want to take the slow route, they want to take the quickest route possible, so the way they accelerate their evolution is they want to integrate with technology. It's like this stuff is so easy to look up. There's no excuse. You have the internet. All this stuff's easy to look up. It's like this is going to be a long series of I'm just giving you, starting with basics right now. What else do I want to get to here? So the reason why technology is advancing is centered around melanin. The more scientists understand melanin, the greater technology is going to advance. At all levels. So let's go back to this. Let's go back to this science article right here for a moment. See what else they're saying here. More basic information, basic science information regarding it. So the molecular, the first step of biosynthesis. Some people like to say we photosynthesize light into energy. Technically it's called photovoltaism. But if you look at the term photosynthesis, photo means light. Synthesis means to combine. What did I tell you before? It's all about you combining the full light spectrum and condensing it and transmuting it into information, knowledge that your body can use for different purposes, mentally and physically. So in a way, we do photosynthesis if you want to look at it that way. But technically, photosynthesis is when plants take light and convert it to sugars for energy. Sugars are crystallized light, sunlight. That's exactly why when you eat sugar, you have a tremendous amount of energy. Because it's crystallized light. But we as humans do not produce sugar from just the light. We convert the light into electromagnetism. Converting that electromagnetism to light, converting that light back to electromagnetism. I'm sure a lot of you know about ATP. That's the energy compound of the cell, right? Mitochondria makes use of ATP, adenosine triphosphate. The son of the show in adenosine triphosphate is phosphorus. Phosphorus is what? The light mineral. When you look it up, phosphorus is the light bearer. I've already told you. It's all about light. So let's go to this. Phosphorus. As you can see, phosphorus is a mineral that brings forth light. Forest is bringing forth, and phos is light. So bringing forth light. Your mitochondria uses phosphorus to bring forth light. And the greater your melanin you have, the better your ability is to gather in light, which is information, knowledge, intelligence, instructions, or in other words, hormones. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to read the rest of this article here, and we're going to save some other parts for next lab blaze. And we're going to continue to go deeper and deeper into this. So let me just get through this article here to bring my point further across. The first step in biosynthesis, I've already told you, synthesis is when you combine. Synthesis is when you're combining the elements together. Biosynthesis, bio is dealing with your biology. Your body is synthesizing materials of both eumelanin and pheomelanin. Eumelanin is the darker melanins. Pheomelanin is a lighter version of melanins, or the paler version of melanins. Begins the same way. Tyrosine is the main aromatic amino acid that is required for darkening your melanin. Keep that in mind. Tyrosine, tryptophan, phenylalanine are the three primary, or the three aromatic amino acids that have a special ability of capturing and absorbing light. Remember that amino acids make up proteins. So if you have tyrosine, tryptophan, and phenylalanine, your body's going to have a better ability to absorb light. So when your body's using those sun and star amino acids of all the other amino acids, the elite amino acids, the aromatic amino acids, the elite version of the amino acids of tyrosine, phenylalanine, and tryptophan, your body's going to have a better ability to decrypt the information within the light for the purposes of building a better body or allowing the body to perform better, whether it's mentally or physically. Because when you look at the compound of tyrosine, phenylalanine, and tryptophan, they're all benzene rings or stars, and their specialty is absorbing light. So when you incorporate these aromatic amino acids with the light mineral phosphorus, you're going to increase your body's capacity to absorb light. In other words, knowledge and wisdom and information. So let me continue. Tyrosine is converted into dihydrophenylalanine, which is DOPA, which requires tyrosine, hydroxylase, and tetrahydrobiopterin as a cofactor. The enzyme tyrosinase then converts dihydroxyphenylalanine into dopa-quinone, which can follow a variety of pathways to form the eomelanin or pheomelanin. So it's telling you how tyrosine is used to build these different types of melanin. The primary stimulus for melanogenesis, you know, genesis, the creation of melanin. Genesis is the creation or the making of melanin. Melano is referring to the short form of melanin. Genesis is referring the making of or the creation of or the beginning of something. Melanogenesis and subsequent melanosomes production. See, you've already been told. It's all about the production of melanin. Melanogenesis is production of melanin. And then how do you build your melanin? UV radiation. Specifically, UVB radiation will build your melanin, which upregulates melanocyte production. They're using fancy wordplay to tell you that it increases your melanin production by being in the sunlight, in UVB light specifically. So it upregulates your melanocyte production of the pro-opioid melanosortin, POMC, and its downstream products, alpha melanocyte stimulating hormone, and adrenal, whatever that word is, all these big ass words they use, ACTH. The overall effect is to increase eomelanin production. So all that's saying is this is all to increase your melanin production. People with the pro-opioid melanocortin mutation have red hair, Fitzpatrick skin type 1 due to relative increase in pheomelanin to eomelanin expression. So lighter skin, paler skin people. Neuromelanin is a dark pigment produced by dopaminergic and neurogenetic cells of substantia nigra and locus coeruleus as a breakdown product of dopamine. Function. In its various forms, melanin fulfills a variety of biological functions, including skin and hair pigmentation, and photoprotection of the skin and eye. So they like to call it photoprotection. So the greater melanin you have, the better ability you have to regulate the dynamic spectrum coming from the sun. And the better your ability to regulate that information, the better you are at organizing that information. People who get burnt in the sun, who have a hard time in the sun, their body lacks the ability to regulate and control the light and organize it for a positive result in the body. That's why they get burnt. That's why their body gets damaged, because their body lacks the ability to organize that dynamic light radiation emission that is full of knowledge, full of information, full of instructions. It overwhelms their body's living biochemistry, and then they get the result of what? Burning, skin, uncomfortability. Because you cannot handle the information from the sun. In other words, I'm making this plain and simple. These guys use all these big words and hide information through big words and confusion of all these terminologies and scientific terms. I'm making it plain and simple for you. If you're able to be in that sun, the more information you could receive, the more energy you could receive, the longer life potential you will have. The greater your vitality you will have, the greater intelligent potential physical ability you will have. If you lack the ability to receive the light, you're going to get rejected. And what happens with rejection? You're going to get pushed to death. What is the result? You get burnt, scorched, cancer is formed, rebellious cells are formed, and they act against you. Your own cells act against you and take you down. So in other words, if you lack the ability to receive light, the information and knowledge that you receive is what? Fragmented, partitioned. You're not receiving the full instructions. That's why it's important that you got to build your melanin. It's more than just photo protection. In fact, I wouldn't even use the word necessarily protection. I wouldn't necessarily use that. If you have more melanin, you have a higher ability to regulate information, to regulate knowledge. Because light is knowledge, light is information, light is intelligence. If your body cannot handle the information, or in other words, using computer science, if your computer cannot handle the latest operating system, you're going to become obsolete. You're going to become thrown out. Same thing. If you have an 80s computer, you have a computer that was made in what? The 90s, and you try to put Windows 10 in it, what's going to happen to you? You try to put the latest Mac OS in it, what's going to happen to that computer? It won't be able to handle it. It can't handle the hardware. It can't handle the software. You try to put the latest technology, the latest physical parts, the latest physical hardware in an old 90s computer, it's not going to be able to handle it. It won't be compatible. You try to put the latest software in that old computer, it's not going to be compatible. And even if you do get it in there, it won't be able to handle all of it. All the dynamic features that it has, it won't be able to move well in it. Same thing with the human body. If you cannot receive the light, it's going to be difficult for you to connect with the source information of all of things, or connect with God, to be specific. That's why you need to build your melanin. You need to get your melanin up. Don't think that melanin don't matter. All these sources I'm going to be showing you is going to be showing you just how important melanin is. We're just getting started, man. It's just getting started with basic stuff. Exactly, the God. Chemistry is the study of melanin. Yep. Chem means black. Cum means black molecule. It's another way of saying melanin. Chem is black. So when you're dealing with chemistry, it's talking about the alchemy of manipulating melanin. Chemistry is the study of manipulating blackness. Jack Hart says, cut your hair. Why would I cut my antennas off? See, you missed the point already. You're missing the information. The reason why a lot of people are ignorant today, because you cut your hair. You're cutting your antennas. Let me ask you a question. Would you take the antennas out your phone? Would you use your phone if you take the antennas out of your phone? Because the phone is a technological projection of you. This is a mini computer. If you take the antenna out of these phones, how are you going to access the internet to get the latest updates and upgrades? The phone is going to be quickly obsolete because you cannot connect. Use common sense. So why would you cut your antennas off? Unless you don't want to receive the information, unless you want to remain stupid and limit your ability to access the source information. Why would you purposely want to limit your ability to access the source information? Same thing with melanin. Melanin is like an antenna. The greater your melanin, internally and externally, the greater your connection to the all, the source of all of things. So let me finish this part up, and then we're going to put this lab blaze to a close and save the rest of the information for another time. There's a lot of information. A lot. The whole purpose of me making this series is to ensure that no one perpetuates any more ignorance of saying that color doesn't matter, because it's just plain stupid. All color has a purpose in life. Alright, let's continue and finish here. In its various forms, melanin fulfills a variety of biological functions, including skin and hair pigmentation and photoprotection of the skin and eye. Pigmentation of the skin results from the accumulation of melanin-containing melanosomes in the basal layer of the epidermis. Differences in skin pigmentation result both from the relative ratio of eumelanin, brown-black, to pheomelanin, yellow-red, as well as a number of melanosomes with melanocytes. Pheomelanin accounts for the pinkish skin constituting the lips, nipples, vagina, glands, and penis. In general, lightly pigmented skin tends to contain melanocytes with clusters of 2 to 3 melanosomes, whereas darkly pigmented skin tends to contain individual melanosomes which can melanocyze neighboring keratinocytes more readily. The overall melanin density correlates with the darkness of skin as well Fitzpatrick skin type. The interplay between melanin and UV radiation is complex. Researchers widely believe that melanin production in melanocytes increased as an evolutionary adaptation to the widespread loss of human body hair more than millions of years ago. Populations living closer to the equator tend to develop a greater proportion of melanin, which is a UV absorbent, antioxidant, and free radical scavenger. Did you catch that? So melanin is a UV absorbent. UV radiation is known to damage your DNA, damage the cells of your body. Antioxidants are used to prevent your body's energy from being taken away from you, from free radicals. Which is the end product of metabolism. When your body is burning energy, it produces free radicals, and those free radicals steal electrons out your body, which in essence it reduces your lifespan, your life energy, your vitality, your longevity. So free radicals rob you of life energy out your body, your lifespan. Antioxidants slows the process of that down, or neutralizes that process altogether, depending on how much you're getting into you. And it says that melanin is a great contributor to acting as an antioxidant, as an anti-carcinogenic as well, to prevent cellular production, to prevent malfunction of cells in the body, which is called cancer. When your cells in your body become a rebel to your body, it goes against your body. That's cancer. So melanin is a great contributor to preventing that process, keeping your body in balance, peace, harmony, and tranquility. That is why black people on average age slower. Have you heard that saying that black don't crack? So it's more than just skin protection. Far more. It plays a dynamic role in the living biochemistry of organic life forms. And even in life in general. So you need to hear this again. Where was I? Lost my spot. Okay, let me just continue. Okay. The overall melanin density correlates with the darkness of the skin as well as the Fitzpatrick skin type. The interplay between melanin and UV radiation is complex. Researchers widely believe that melanin production in the melanocyte increased an evolutionary adaptation to widespread loss of human body hair more than 1 million years ago. Populations living closer to the equator tend to develop a greater proportion of melanin, which is UV absorbent, antioxidant, and free radical scavenger. Conversely, populations living further from the equator are relatively richer in pheomelanin, or the lighter version of melanin, which produces free radicals in response to UV radiation. And this is why you get burnt. This is why you get cancer. Much more easily. Accelerating carcinogenesis. So the creation of cancer cells, in other words. Carcinogenesis, the creation of cancer cells. As the main stimulus for cutaneous vitamin D production is UV light exposure. It follows that dark-skinned individuals also tend to have lower levels of vitamin D and should be screened accordingly. So let me make this simple for you. When it comes to building vitamin D in your body, paler people are able to get their vitamin D quicker simply because the body lacks the ability to control the amount of light that gets in their body. So the body's able to produce vitamin D faster. Melanin is a regulator. It controls how light enters the body. Because why when you have melanin, your body takes the light and organizes it into specific forms and fashions, patterns and rhythms. That's why black people take a longer time to produce vitamin D. However, that's why black folks can thrive in the sun when they're in the proper health status. That's why they have a greater lifespan when they're in a proper health status. That's why they age slower when they're in the proper health status. So black people need to be in the sun longer to get adequate vitamin D. And the reason behind it, like I said, the reason why they could be in that sun longer is because they're able to organize the full light spectrum, unlike the lighter skin races, the paler skin races, who can't really organize all that profound amount of light energy, or in other words, all that profound amount of information and knowledge contained in the light. They can't process all the information. So when they get to a certain level when they get to a certain angle of light, ultraviolet light, when the ultraviolet light goes past their threshold, their bodies are going to start what? Short-circuiting, erupting. Their fuse goes out. These are all metaphors that are directly related to what's happening to pale-skinned folks. Their fuse goes off. They short-circuit. It's too hot. Oh, I'm getting tired. And then, or they get physical representations of being scorched. All that is because they cannot handle the information and knowledge of the sun. That's what it is. So you cannot call yourself you cannot call yourself the people of the sun if you can't even handle the sunlight. That goes for black people. Because I know a chunk of black people who wear shades. Oh, it's too bright, and it's an embarrassment. What do you have that skin on you? How the hell do you saying it's too bright outside? Your ass, you have melanin on your ass. That means your melanin ain't working. You ain't living right. It's an embarrassment. If you need to wear shades outside and all that stuff, you hide from the sun. Oh, it's too hot. You whine and complain. You should be the last human on the planet complaining about heat, complaining about sun. You should be smiling. You should be thriving at that sun. As that heat gets up, you better be getting your energy should be skyrocketing, not going ooh and act like European run-in. This is not offense to European Caucasians again. I'm just telling you what it is. I'm giving you the true information of what's going on. Paler skinned folks have a fuse, and once that threshold is broken, they gotta go take a break because they receive too much information. The body needs time to digest. The body needs time to assimilate the information, organize the information. All the light information they receive, the body needs time to process that. They cannot receive anymore because their body's full. The body's too full, they cannot receive any more information. It's the same thing when you're eating. When you eat a lot of food, eating contest, you eat a lot of food, eventually you're going to throw up, right? Same thing. You eat too much, you're going to throw up. Black folks have a greater ability to hold onto more information, more knowledge, more wisdom, more light. Everybody has their limits. Everybody has limits. Eventually they're going to reach their limit, obviously. Especially if you're in a Sahara desert. Like extreme temperatures like that. Eventually you're going to reach your limit. It's going to be too hot, your body's going to eventually be overwhelmed because we're limited life forms right now. So of course you're going to have a limit. But your limit is going to be higher than the average person who's paler. At least it should be But sometimes it isn't. Because you're so disconnected with your own body, your body's all messed up inside that your melanin ain't even working. So now you understand basic and simple things. I'm making this in common sense. So the only reason pale folks are able to produce vitamin D faster is simply because they cannot handle all the dynamic light knowledge that's coming from the sun, or the instructions, the hormones. They can only take a certain amount. If they get too much, the fuse is going to go off. They're going to short circuit. They're going to fry. What happens if you put a high voltage, you plug your electronics into a power bar that's giving too much energy? It's going to fry. It's going to be set on fire. The circuitry and wires are going to be burnt. Or the fuse will blow. It depends on your genetic strength. But the worst case scenario, your circuits are going to fry. You're going to be set on fire. That's worst case scenario. Some people who have a greater genetic strength will have a fuse. We'll be able to better regulate that energy. The fuse will regulate that, and it will go off and tell you when it's time. And some people, they have a greater ability to handle the higher voltage, the higher currency, the higher energy. Anyways, my brothers and sisters, let me get this paragraph concluded. So populations living close to the equator test to develop a greater proportion of eumelanin, which is a UV absorbent, antioxidant, and free radical scavenger. That's for melanin-dominated people. You're going to get the benefits of that. In essence, you're going to live longer, have more vitality, longevity in that sun. And the populations living further from the equator are relatively richer in pheomelanin, which is the paler skin of melanin, the lighter brown, yellow, red, which produces free radicals in response to UV radiation, which you get burnt. It follows that dark-skinned individuals also tend to have lower levels of vitamin D and should be screened accordingly, like I've already informed you about. Melanin gives you ability to organize information better, so it takes more time for that. The lesser your ability to organize information, the more chaos that is going to reign within your body, and that's going to bring destruction to your body. You may get the information faster because of it, but all at the same time, not necessarily either, because it's going to be easier for you to become damaged. Because your body cannot properly organize the information it's receiving. You're just receiving a bunch of stuff without filtering anything. You don't have a good enough filter to handle that information. Less clear is the link between melanin, and I'm not belittling anybody. I'm just telling you what it is. These guys are just hiding this. They're hiding what I'm saying behind fancy words, but that's exactly what they're telling you. Less clear is the link between melanin, the sun, and cutaneous. These freaking words, man. I don't know why they have to always use all these big words all the time. Less clear is the link between melanin, the sun, and cutaneous immunology, both acute and chronic. UV light exposure induces immunosuppression. UV light exposure induces immunosuppression. UVA light is used therapeutically for a large number of skin conditions, including psoriasis, Intriguingly, melanin is believed to have immune modulatory and even antibacterial properties. Sheesh! Melanin is believed to have immune modulatority, so it has the ability to regulate your immune system, control your immune system. This is a fancy word of saying it. Immune modulatory and even antibacterial properties. Although the underlying mechanisms have not yet been fully elucidated, malignant melanocytes rich in melanin are less sensitive to chemo, radiation, and photodynamic therapy. And amylenic melanomas have longer disease-free and overall survival than melanotic ones. Therefore, some have suggested inhibition of melanogenesis as a therapy for malignant myeloma. I don't know why they make this so complicated with how they're saying this. So in essence, people with more melanin are more resistant to radiation. People who have less melanin, you're going to be affected from the radiation in a negative way more easily. That's all it's saying. I don't know why they make it so complicated. Just as melanin protects the skin from photo damage, it also protects the eye. Melanin, and since we're mentioning this, the more melanin you have, the greater your vision. Like I said, the more melanin you have, the greater your perception of reality. Spiritually and physically, the more you're able to see the truth of reality, the more melanin you have. Since we're talking about the eye. So you're going to have sharper vision. You're going to be able to see more colors if you have melanin. Because what does melanin do? What does blackness do? Absorb all light spectrums. All light spectrums are absorbed in the blackness. Therefore, you're able to discern as much things as possible. The paler your eyes are, the less you're able to see in most cases. Same thing with your physical body. Same thing applies athletically. Mentally, same thing applies with your neuromelanin. More intelligence, less intelligence is dependent upon the amount of melanin you have within your central nervous system. Same thing physical. You're going to have a greater potential to have a higher athletic ability. Just as melanin protects the skin from photo damage, it also protects the eye. Melanin is concentrated in the iris and the choroid of those with gray, blue, and green eye colors, as well as albinos. And we know albino is a person who has an extreme lack to melanin. They have almost no melanin, albinos. Caucasian is the next step to that. They're just ahead of an albino. So you have to keep that in mind. Albinos are the worst case scenario for the lack of melanin. Caucasians is the next in line. Then it's Asians. And then it's so forth, going all the way back to the original black race, the Ethiopian dark race. So as well as albinos have more sun-related ocular issues. Hair color is determined by the relative proportion of various forms of melanin. Black and brown hair results from varying degrees of black and brown eumelanin. Blonde hair results from the small amounts of brown eumelanin in absence of black eumelanin. So that's when the pheomelanin starts to kick in, creating the blonde and red, light brown, blonde, and red. Red hair results from roughly equal amounts of pheomelanin and eomelanin. Strawberry blonde hair results from brown eomelanin in the presence of pheomelanin. Clinical significance. Each step in the formation of transport of melanin may be impaired, resulting in a diverse group of diseases. Disease means to be disconnected from your ease or distant from your ease. So melanoblast, Waardenburg syndrome, a group of autosomal recessive and dominant diseases characterized by a white forelock, skin hypopigmentation, and premature graying of hair, results from impaired melanoblast migration to their destination tissues, iris and hair. Various forms also include congenital deafness. So people who are deaf have a lack of black compound within the ears. Because like I said, blackness is the importance for the dynamics of your body's physical abilities. If you're deaf, that means you're lacking blackness. If you have Alzheimer's, you're lacking blackness. Your central nervous system melanin is compromised. Your ability to hold on to memory is compromised. So you're losing melanin in your mind, your neuromelanins, to be specific. That's what these diseases are. It's all about that you're losing melanin. If you have a disease in a certain part of your body, it's the fact that you're losing melanin dominance there. Because melanin is the chief compound that regulates the whole body's systems. So where are we at here? Various forms also include congenital deafness, heterochromia, iridis, so something with your eyes. You have issue with something with your eyes. Cynophirus and dystopia canthrome, whatever these. You can look these up yourself. But obviously it's something. You have a disease with your eyes, you have a disease with your ears, or you have a disease with your brain function. Because you're lacking melanin up in there. Melanocyte disease, which is vitiligo or leprosy, that they don't mention on here, but vitiligo is modern. That's what it's modernly called, vitiligo, a disease characterized by photosensitive and depigmented white patches surrounded by normally pigmented skin and ophthalmologic issue, whatever, however you pronounce that, results from autoimmune destruction of melanocytes. So when Michael Jackson was getting white patches all over his body, that's vitiligo. He was losing his melanin. That could be considered a curse. In other words, disease is considered a curse. Ancient times they call it a curse. Using the English words, they call it a curse. Modern times we call it a disease. Disconnected from your ease, or you're disconnected from God. Disconnected from the peace, harmony, and tranquility. That's a curse. When you're blessed, you're closer to God. You're elevated to God. You have God's favor. Curse is the opposite of blessing. So it's like, or in other words, in modern times called disease. So the next disease, melanosome, the Chidiac Higashi syndrome, an autosomal recessive disease characterized by partial, and there's a reason why I'm reading this, because I want to show you a brief short clip Let's show you something. There's deception going on here. Melanisome, Chidiac Hagashi syndrome, an auto. Oh, let me get some water or get some juice. An autosomal recessive disease characterized by partially... These words, I tell you. Oculocutaneous albinism. Plated dysfunction. Homeophagocytic lymphohisto... Oh my goodness. You guys could look these words up. I'm not going to bother trying to pronounce these. This could pronounce them wrong. Immune deficiency results from mutations in gene which likely regulate lysosomal trafficking. Lysosomal trafficking. Griscelli syndrome, an autosomal recessive group of diseases characterized by hair, skin, hypopigmentation, results from mutations in protein complex responsible for the transfer of mature melanosomes to keratinocytes, various forms also called neurological impairment, immune deficiency. So you lose your pigment in your hair, your skin, you lose your mental function, your immune system is dropped. That's essentially what they're saying. Tyrosinase, let me skip that. You guys, whatever this word is, an autosomal recessive disease characterized by intellectual disability. So intellectual disability. What did I tell you before? Keeping it simple. These guys are complicating the thing. They're making using all these big words here. If you lack melanin, tyrosine is the main aromatic amino acid used to build your melanin. And if you lack this, what does it say here? Intellectual disability. Epilepsy, fair blonde hair, blue eyes, and other skin changes results from a deficiency of the phenylalanine hydroxylase enzyme. This is science coming from the NCBI. See, you gotta read your science. They're telling you plain out. If you have a lack of melanin ability, it's gonna affect your overall ability mentally and physically. They're telling you straight out. They're just hiding it behind all these big words and fancy stuff. They're telling you straight out. Intellectual disability. Doesn't mean you're going to be stupid. It's just going to say your intellectual capacity is going to be limited in some aspects. Or your physical ability is going to be limited in some aspects. Because you lack melanin. And then another one here. Dopaminergic neurons. Parkinson's disease. Everybody knows about Parkinson's disease. Forgetting things, right? Neurodegenerative. So the breakdown of your neurons. Neurodegenerative. So the destruction of your neurons. Meaning you're losing your body, your brain or your cells lose ability to hold on to information. So you start to forget things. Short attention span. You're forgetful. Neurodegenerative degenerative condition. Extreme cases is Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, all those different things that happen to the mind and body. Characterized by progressive postural and Gaia difficulties, results from a drop-off of melanin producing dopaminergic neurons in the brain. So to keep it simple, rather than using these complicated terms, in essence, in layman's terms, when you lose your neuromelanin, it's going to give you a disease of Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, memory issues, all those things. That's what it's telling you. So you guys could go look this up yourself. This is science. This is not some black supremacist. Oh, you do some black guy saying being racist, being stop it. This is European science telling you what it is. They're just telling you in a way that is complex. They're giving you all these big words and hiding the terminology. But they already said here for everybody to understand. You're gonna have an intellectual disability. That's plain. Everybody can understand that easily without having to really think. And what is this? Let me look this up. Okay, that's what that means. But they tell you intellectual disability or physical disability if you lack melanin. So anyways, this is where I'm going to conclude it for now. I'm going to conclude it here. That's the fire of truth, and nothing but the whole, living, unified truth. My brothers and sisters, we'll see if there's any relevant questions, and then we'll put this to a close. I went a little longer than I wanted to go. Almost going on 2 hours. There's so much information to cover. It's a ridiculous amount of information to cover regarding this whole melanin thing. Because it's literally the center of attention around everything. It's the most hidden science out of everything, but it's the center of attention to everything because melanin is used in everything. Jason Kim, what's poppin'? Jason Kim, is there a difference between what turmeric or ginger to get? What is the best quality? Wild is the best quality. Wild crafted, then it's organic, is the best. What's poppin', Melissa? Joe Gala, what's poppin'? Exactly. What's popping, zeros? Not sure what that sign is. This looks like a bunch of doorways to me. Whatever that is, a bunch of doorways. Whoever you are, what's popping? A people without knowledge of their past history, origin, and culture is like a tree without roots. Sheesh. Facts. Truth blazing. Facts blazing. Facts being manufactured in the factory.
What? Slow motion this side.
Mr. Wang, what's poppin'? Do you listen to David Sinclair? No, I don't even know who he is. Andy Malenkis, what's poppin'? How about Chinese people? They have black hair and eyes. What about that? You know the answer. The more black you have, and the more black The more black particle, the black molecule you have, the greater your potential will be. Simple. Everybody's capable of building their melanin, so there is no excuses. Some people are just ahead of others. Everybody's not equal. Remember that. Everybody's not exactly equal. Yes, we're all humans. But we're not all exactly equal. Everybody has different abilities, different skills. The Asian hate crime is just propaganda. It's just propaganda to downplay the racism against blacks. It's just to dilute that, to make it seem like everybody else is being played against. Yes, everybody can be racism can be practiced on everybody. However, ultimately, the one who has the greatest amount of racism practiced upon them is the black race, more than anybody else. So it is propaganda to a certain extent to dilute the racism against black folks. Do you check your blood pressure? No, I don't. Not routinely, no. Anyways, I'm going to put this to a close, brothers and sisters. I just wanted to show you one more important thing as it pertains to this whole melanin thing. One more important thing I wanted to show you here. Let me just pull it up for a moment. Let me show you something here.
Olet nyt terve.
I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon.
You see that? You see the deception here? We just read a science article telling you that a disease is when you lose your melanin. But they're making it seem like the disease is when you have melanin. Look at this. Look what they do. They indoctrinate you with cartoons and television shows and different things. Look. They're making it seem like this person is suffering with blackness. And they're in a desert. And you know what's funny too? They're in the desert. You think a white person's gonna survive in that desert with that pale skin? No, they're not. That's what's funny about this cartoon here. The Jesus story cartoon that they're showing here. They're changing the narrative. But yet the science tells you that the disease is when you have pale skin. So look at this. This is the psychological sorcery they do to manipulate your mind.
Olet nyt terve.
I beg your pardon.
Olet nyt terve. Olet nyt terve.
I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon.
So that's another point I wanted to bring forward, brothers and sisters. So anyways, my brothers and sisters, awaken your mind and get your behind back to the organic, into that mainframe of Almighty Nature, which is the collective consciousness, the unified field of the divine, the great vine, derived from the vine in which you get your true information, knowledge, wisdom, and intelligence from. Listen to reason and listen to wisdom. We're going to be continuing this another day. So stay sitting at your seats for more Fire of Truth blazing broadcasts, giving you the truth about melanin science and the importance of why it's so critical and vital in your life. Life is about growth and development. So you got to be building your light in your life. How do you build your light in your life? You got to improve your body's ability to be an absorber of light, because light is synonymous with information, knowledge, wisdom, instructions, hormones, in other words, scientific word for it. In order for your body to function properly, it needs the proper instructions, intelligence. You know what time it is, my brothers and sisters. Like, share, subscribe, and blaze up the bell icon for all notification. You know what time it is. This is what it's about here. You see that? My power picture presentation has been going the whole time. It's about finding out what is right. That's what it's about. The ignorance gotta stop. So anyways, brothers and sisters, enjoy the rest of your night. Peace.
Check it, listen, coming through, fire bun. I'm an intellectual to the precise decimal of mathematical root radicals. So we see this, I mean this, the fire of truth. From the sheer might, the fire of truth. Preach, teach, the fire of truth.
Just levitate, levitate. Keep your head straight. Just levitate, levitate. Even if the world is so cold, we just levitate, levitate. Shed these lies.
Balance is key, foundation you see, harmony we see, nature we free, spirit we agree, preach and teach, the flock we reach, peace we feast, Ecclesiastics 3, Barak Shalom hour, inner peace power, reason in season, there's meaning in beacon and wisdom we season. Peace to the Most High, the Most High, 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 peace to the Most High, the Most High.